From a feature every fan wanted removed to an insane secret update, here are the most hated things in Fortnite during 2025. You gotta admit, Fortnite's collab skins have been getting better and better, especially cel-shaded outfits. So when they revealed Danny Phantom was coming to the game, no one was expecting him to look like he had been hit in the face with a hammer. People think it's because bringing a 2D show to Fortnite is hard, which it is, but Epic nailed the Adventure Time and Simpsons outfits, so everyone just thought Danny Phantom would look at least somewhat good. But right now, he has quickly become one of the most laughed at cartoon characters in Fortnite. A serious criticism that is harming Fortnite is how Epic have locked Battle Pass items behind other modes. For example, if you want to get the rewards for Carter Wu, including his bonus styles, you have to complete quests and reload, and the same goes for Cat Holloway. Here, you're forced to play Blitz Royale if you want her bonus styles. The whole point of Fortnite nowadays is that you're meant to have a choice on what you want to play, only for Epic to force a mode down our throat just to complete a Battle Pass. So I'm not surprised people are outraged about this. I mean, what's next? Making us play Steal the Brain Rot in next season's Battle Pass? The same thing is happening in ranked mode. In the past, you could get unreal versions of cosmetics just by being good at Battle Royale. But in Chapter 7, fans have realized you need to become Unreal and Reload and Rocket Racing for extra items. Yeah, if you thought having to play other modes for cosmetics was bad, imagine being forced to get Unreal in every mode for them. And to make things worse, they keep sending mixed messages, because at the start of the chapter, they locked all of these modes except for BR. Chapter 7 blew our minds when they introduced surfing to the game. For the first time ever, we didn't arrive on the battle bus. On day 1, it was honestly refreshing and helped us really feel like a new chapter, but after a few days, everyone realized that they didn't like it. I can see why, considering you were forced to the edges of the map, and it basically picked a side for you, so it was impossible to go to the same POI every game. But Fortnite solved this when they brought the bus back a week later, and fans were still not happy with the 20% chance to surf. Epic even buffed it by making the waves shoot you way higher, and it still didn't fix the complaints. One of the strangest things about this music pass, though, is how Fortnite have decided to include AI music and emotes. We all assumed the La Ta Ta dance was an Epic original song because no one had heard it before. Well, that's until fans went onto Apple Music and noticed that it was actually an AI-generated K-pop song from April. Fans have also been concerned about possible AI artwork on the map, as they have spotted posters like this one showing a Yeti with an odd number of toes, but it's not confirmed if this is real art or not. But even during beloved seasons like The Simpsons, Fortnite made some pretty huge mistakes. We had spent all of 2025 waiting for sidekicks to release. They have been leaked so many times, and we got really excited until we saw the price. Okay, maybe it was justified because of the insane amount of customization you get, except it gets locked once you pick your design, and you have to shell out the cash for another pet just to change it. This immediately became one of the most controversial item shop changes of the entire year, and to this day, fans still think Epic needs to make them cheaper or just unlock the customization. What was extra weird about the season was how all of the brand new Simpsons items were locked behind Delulu. For 1 week of a 4-week season, they straight up forced you to play a different mode if you wanted to use things like Bart's Slingshot or the deodorant applicator. It was either that or wait an entire week to use them in regular BR, and even then, it was only for a weekend. We couldn't even enjoy features that were in Battle Royale like the Simpsons couch gag. Fortnite added a couch that you could actually sit on with your friends, and it would heal you over time, which made this an insane meta. Obviously, people thought, what was stopping you from just sitting here the whole game and healing in the storm? Well, Fortnite were one step ahead and made the storm kick you off the couch. But within 24 hours, people had already found a game-breaking glitch because of this, and Fortnite straight up deleted the couch for a few days. Fans were also pretty sad that in an entirely Simpsons-themed season, we didn't even get to play as Apu, one of the most iconic characters. Sure, we got the Quickie Mart all over the map, but the only sign of Apu himself was in Moe's Tavern, and here's where it got extra strange. In one of the photos, Epic somehow made him yellow, causing so many people to wonder what was Fortnite thinking. Turned out it was an accident and they had to fix it in an update, but even then, we still never got him as a skin. Then back in August with the bug season, Fortnite dropped a weapon that was basically a whole inventory full of guided missile launchers in one small package. As you can probably guess, it was ridiculously OP. Not only did it blast people with an insane amount of rockets, you could then aim it after firing and send a barrage at anyone you wanted. Obviously, Fortnite were forced to nerf this for the rest of the season. Back during this time, we still had medallions, and one of the craziest ones was double jump. Not only did it let you jump twice, but it also gave you a slide boost, and people immediately realized you could combo the abilities to make yourself impossible to hit. I mean, seriously, take a look at this. Yeah, boy. What? Within days, it became one of the most powerful medallions in Fortnite history, and of course, Epic had to step in. They nerfed it into the ground, and yet it was still busted. By far the biggest complaint of the bug season was how Fortnite straight up ripped off Helldivers 2 and then didn't even collab with them. And if the community being disappointed about this wasn't enough, things got even worse when the developers of Helldivers themselves roasted Fortnite on Twitter, saying, "It's giving, we have Helldivers at home," which you gotta admit is just straight up embarrassing for Epic. Then, in June of this year, we had the superhero season, and honestly, you either loved this or hated it. But one thing's for sure, people are already starting to forget just how broken the base boost was. This item was decent on its own, but that's when players found a game-breaking glitch that straight up gave them unlimited wins. It turned out, if you switched items, the base boost would give you the movement effects, but it wouldn't use up a charge, so you could just spam it to fly into space and win any match.
He's popping shieldfish in the air. Wow, he won.
But one feature in the season was so controversial that Fortnite stopped doing it for the rest of 2025. Usually when a new battle pass drops, you can buy 25 levels at a discount. This has been going on for like the longest time. And yet with Super, Epic decided this bundle would also include the free Superman outfit, but an entire month early. Basically, if you didn't want to wait a whole month to get him through quests, you could just shell out thousands of V-Bucks and get it before anyone else. This was especially crazy because Superman had already been in Fortnite all the way back in Chapter 2, so there's no way anyone was gonna pay twice for him like that. Especially when they finally got their hands on the full set a month later and realized the DCU Superman couldn't even use the iconic glider from 2021. Yeah, they tried to equip it with the new skin and were told it would be hidden when not equipped with the Superman outfit, which is pretty hilarious considering this version was literally just called Superman. Okay, I've been showing you some of the most hated updates of 2025, but I think the most hated season of the year was, of course, Star Wars. Nobody expected it to be so controversial, and yet it was full of complaints. The biggest one was the fact that Epic deleted the entire loot pool. It was a pretty bold move, removing every single gun and replacing them with lightsabers and blasters with unlimited ammo. It drove away all of the core Fortnite fans because they felt like they were just playing Star Wars Battlefront with basically no alternative, especially when the blasters were straight up overpowered, and because everyone was holding one, fights were no longer about skill, but who actually shot first. At least we had cool unique vehicles like when they dropped X-Wings and TIE fighters in the game, but for some reason, they barely spawned at all and were incredibly weak, making it way too easy to shoot them down. You gotta remember, everyone had blasters with unlimited ammo, so they just sprayed these things right out of the sky. Even the battle pass was controversial, with some amazing Star Wars characters included, and then people spotted this thing. Wookiee Team Leader was instantly remembered as one of the worst battle pass skins of 2025, and it made it even worse when people realized it took up a whole slot in the pass, forcing Mace Windu, Darth Jar Jar, and customizable Mandalorians all to be thrown in the item shop. So as we rewind to Lawless in February, I think the first thing anyone thinks of when looking back is the freaking baseball bat. It was so unbelievably broken because you could just spam it, and in zero build, there was no way to outrun it. People would just mow you down. Honestly, I was pretty heartbroken that so many people hated this thing because I still think sending people to space with a home run is insanely fun. It was just way too busted. Unlike the armored truck vehicle, which did not last long because it sucked. You had to wait for half of the match for it to spawn, then it was guarded by waves of enemies, and once those guys were down, you then had to blast open the door. After doing all of that, you'd find yourself in the driver's seat of the worst vehicle in 2025. It was super slow, had zero guns, it was bad at ramming, and the only thing people cared about was how many friends they could fit in the back because it only actually had 2 seats. And a lot of the design around Lawless was criticized for not being original at all. It was yet another heist season, this time merging the Midas spy theme with the Kato Thorn heist, so it didn't really feel special. But hey, at least we actually got the rob banks in this one. A much more memorable part of 2025 was the very first season, which gave us all kinds of crazy Japanese theme items like the Void Mask. This was so popular that Fortnite have already brought it back tons of times throughout the year, and yet when it came out, it was a huge problem. Because they were so easy to find, people would always hold on to one and then just teleport away from any fight the second they heard the whiz of a bullet. You especially couldn't catch them if you were using the Typhoon Blade. But don't be fooled, because even though Fortnite has had its fair share of terrible melee weapons, this one felt different. It was insanely overpowered. It got to the point where everyone was dropping at the same POIs just to find one. It gave you unlimited sprint if you comboed it with sliding, and at one point there was an infinite flying glitch. But it was so powerful and so fun for mobility that Fortnite reworked it in Chapter 7 in the form of the Bride Sword. Still not as annoying as a certain boss on the map, and that was the Night Rose. Not only were you basically fighting two bosses at once, but she would also summon shadow puppeteers that third-party you. In solos, it was basically impossible to take her out because she just had so much health, and then even if you took it down, she was able to heal herself. Looking back, I know fans were annoyed about a lot of this stuff throughout the year, but I wonder how you feel now. What do you think was Fortnite's biggest mistake in 2025? Let me know. It has been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.